See the res starting to come up from Team Liquid, and Gam just, hey, what are you going to do?
Not much.
Yeah, but it's really matters maybe which way they peek, because Team Liquid would really like those points, but Crexy says, nah, that's mine.
Yeah, I mean, they're just damned if they do, damned if they don't. Anything they do is just absolutely treacherous at this point. So really, it's going to come down to this 2v4, you would think. But Virtus Pro has a little bit of an established position, and meanwhile, Team Liquid starting to fan out. I mean, I think as Team Liquid here, you just kind of group up and just sweep. You don't really need to overextend. You just put like a 3-1 split or something like that. Crexy's going for the bolt here, though.
I mean, it's big if they get the knock when they need it. The entire lobby hoping that VP falls here and that Team Liquid can do it. Just now 1 point back behind Myth, 2 points back behind Gam, so big climb potential coming up for Team Liquid at the tail end of all of this. But VP, if they get this, they get it all. They clinch it up. Smash rolls are big. Can Crexy with the bolty get the knocks when they need it? Creeping forward, not really finding much, but the high ground from Team Liquid feels so strong.
Just a little bit off there. Tough with a 3x for Crexy. Has to prone to keep himself out of Team Liquid's sightlines. I mean, Nixie trying to just spray into the smokes, do what damage he can, try to keep Team Liquid pinned by that blue as long as possible. Both these teams pretty equidistant to the center of the circle. Smokes are down.
I love that smoke coming up from VP. Denies the high side on the hill, so they get to focus a bit more down. Crexy's putting in the work, but not getting the knock just yet. Nixie, he's wanting to go closer range with this. He's wanting to move into their face. You can see that it's pretty bad as far as utility and everything else goes. Pick's coming around the side. Crexy going for it. Alo gets the better. It is just Nixie up, fighting for it. He gets one, leans back into the smokes, but mollies are falling all around him. Goes for the shot, does get the knock onto Alo, but it doesn't matter. Team Liquid clutches it up.
Oh boy, they got real close, did Virtus Pro, but Liquid managing that late game very, very nicely. Cowboy finding that big kill onto Beamy to put Virtus Pro just down to 2 to really narrow their options and opportunities. So a big win here for Team Liquid. That's going to put them up to 12th place overall on the leaderboard.
Oh my God, man, VP is just so crazy. They make it to the end game just over and over and over again. They played pacing on that game so great. They let everybody to the north fight. They just swoop in from the south at the most opportunistic time, start finding the kills, ruin Navi's day, and just make sure that their closest competitor goes down by their own hand.
Yeah, honestly, one of the most impactful moments in that game happened very, very early on where Lucarux died to T1, and that actually was a huge difference in that game potentially, where maybe VP is 3 instead of 2, and it's a completely different situation.
And Falcons right now rejoicing because Team Liquid, the other guys from America right now, really helping them out. It feels like Falcons are just chasing circles, man. They cannot find anything that feels good for them. The pressure is continuing to mount, and they just can't find any success right now. They need a big game as Navi has just usurped position while they found near on nothing.
Yeah, man, it's been really intense there at the top of that leaderboard. I mean, we've seen a bunch of swings already, and who's in what position from that 2nd to 5th place spot. There's a lot of jockeying for position in the middle of the pack.
It's all a mental battle right now. That's really what it comes down to. When you're a squad like Falcons or even VC that's in the hunt behind all of this, you just got to constantly keep correcting your mental, get preparations for it, be leaning in, knowing exactly how all of this is going to go down. And on the other side of it, Navi, it feels like they're even getting like more comfortable the longer this goes on. This is a squad with Hacktory we know can really rip somebody apart, and there is the potential of a 25-point game looming back behind VP if they're not careful.
Oh yeah, that's just it, and then that potentially puts them into the threshold position. Yep. So that's kind of what you're looking at here, is if Navi can have some big games. We're halfway through the day. There's only 3 more games to go. The lead very comfortable for Virtus Pro. Now it's just about either getting that win or making sure that no one else has that opportunity to hit that threshold.
Maybe 3 games to go. Who knows?
Maybe.
At max, there's 3 more games to go as we're going to be getting into the tail end of all of this. Of course, moving back in, it's going to be Rondo next, then Tego, then back to Erangel to finish it all out. So there's so much eyes on the top of it. Oh my God, VP, can you get it off of a chicken dinner, or are we going to see somebody try to sneak it away from you? We've got to get the next game ready to go.
thinks he can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing but go!
Tyler 1, you're done.
VP so close to being able to close it out. Godspeed, Lays, Toffees, and the 7WG here for you. Oh, if only GAM would have just decided to take the fight, maybe find an opening for VP to third party, we could have been talking about a winning championship match right
Nixie
there.
had 7 bullets left at the end of that game. Corexy was basically bolting. They really didn't have much left going for them. But hey, the crazy thing is that they still made it to the end game. They still got second place. They still got even more points, which is pushing that gap farther. So, I mean, they were close on their worst map. Their that's what EB himself said is their worst map.
Yeah, I was sort of going to capitalize on that as well. But, like, I mean, they were in such a great position from, like, the beginning. They had that southern side to themselves, placement in their favor. And, I mean, all squads were sort of fighting on, like, that northern side. So, you know, they just had to play the patient game. But, you know, of course, they did play it perfectly going up against Full Sense and then obviously eliminating Na'Vi. But Team Liquid had a different story, and they read it too well.
I think Team Liquid had a great spot going in here. They desperately needed those points just to move up that board. It was one of those things where Liquid was like, we have to win this because every time the VP is out, it's more points for us to climb, more money in the bank. That said, the fact that VP was down to 2, and we are still sitting there going, they could do this, right? You correctly almost gets the headshot. Like, it is wild how good these guys are. And yes, they have the circle. They got a great shift on 5, but then they lost it and had to go up. They had to fight their way to where they were. There is no argument across the board from anyone possible that they did not earn this championship when they win it, because that is what they've proven to me is they were ahead. They had a tough day. They bounced back with a win yesterday, and they came out and proved to us today by getting 10 in the first and this now that these guys are some of the best players, if not the best team in the world.
And even as you were saying, Lays, too, the way that they were able to take the fight with Full Sense was just beautiful. They waited for the right time. They were able to push the action, got those kills as well. VP, you're getting closer and closer. But talking about a squad that was actually able to win this game, which was none other than Team Liquid. Team Liquid finally shows up, and this is a squad that is in the club championship, and they want to get those points. They need to make sure they reach top 8, though.
Yeah, look, Liquid is not winning this event by any stretch of the imaginations, but they sure as hell can get quite far up that leaderboard, and this is a really great start. Going into that last fight, I believe they had 9 kills, maybe even 10 by the end of the game. They got a healthy amount of points, and that should boost them up, because this is huge. Another team I have to mention, though, who's been making the climb, and you say when they win, Steve, Na'Vi might actually overpass VP, the way they've been playing so far, making consistently the enemy, at least getting kills, they're actually closing that gap. So we say when VP wins, unless they close out an actual chicken dinner, Na'Vi's knocking on the door.
I mean, I agree. I hope so. Na'Vi was my pick to potentially win this thing, so I would love to see them come out and win the tournament. I love looking like Nostradamus, but it is a tall order, right? Because VP looks so good, and honestly, after that game, with the amount of points they put on the board with 2 people, and only 3 games left to play, it does feel like Na'Vi would have to have a momentous game. We did say Hakatori's got to pop off. He did. I don't know. What do you think, Lace? Can they do it?
I mean, look, they were going hungry in the start. They were able to, like, you know, get a few KP on Gen G. They're not slowing down, so it's, you know, a different game between VP trying to prioritize getting into circle. But look, Na'Vi are at that point contention, and they're still trying to, like, clear their backs and make sure that they can get those positioning. And I mean, that wipe on Shadow Sports, damn.
For Na'Vi,
I didn't realize the gap was 30.
Yeah, it's okay though.
Sorry.
It's okay though, because for Na'Vi, they're going to be looking at 136 points.
Yeah.
If they reach 136 points before match 6 and BP's not able to close it out, they could end up winning via Smash Zone. And right now, Na'Vi, as you were saying, they are being consistent. They are looking at that threshold of 136 points.
I can tell the future, so.
What's most important as well is if you look at that graph, they also have 3 chicken dinners, which means they know how to close out the games here.
They do. I mean, at the end of the day, we saw VP pushing. I said their win condition here is they have to wipe Na'Vi in that house. They got him down. They set themselves up to win in 6. And you're right, Na'Vi now has to reprogram and say, okay, it's not about point passing. It's about hitting threshold and getting a chicken dinner. They have the potential to do that. My other worry is Falcons. They started today with a very big payoff in second, and they've lost already hundreds of thousands of dollars. How far can that go?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Twisted Minds. I feel like, you know, it was their time to get that sort of kill points. But, like, in my opinion, I feel like they played it a little little bit too slow for them. Obviously, Gustav got the first kill there and then knocked himself, but was able to have, I guess, eyes on Example, who was sort of holding that corner from them, which could have opened up the fight. But then, you know, of course, the time that it took for them to actually just be able to, like, have those contentions, we had another team in the rotation, so it was just tough on their rotate coming out of that position.
Yeah, and you see Falcons there get eliminated, and I just want you to keep an eye on Tig. I want you to keep an eye on the players too from Falcons, because they're just seeing this slip away at the moment. And this is not, I mean, they are challenging, wanting to get to 136 points to challenge for that championship. But once again, we got to talk about Falcons in regards to the club championship. They want to make sure they continue to get those points because they really haven't been able to do that well club championship wise. Falcons is starting to get to them as we see the players in a bit of a distress.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that pressure. I guarantee you, if you ask those guys, they're probably not thinking about the club championships as much as they're purely focused on this, but you're absolutely right. I mean, Falcons are champions in the past of the club championship, and they're an org that absolutely wants to get it here. And so there is that extra added pressure. I mean, you want to talk about in the past, I think it's safe to say, boys and girls, we won't have a repeat champion this year as far as EWC and Twisted Minds.
Damn right. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be VP or Na'Vi if they're able to pick it up and get the 136 points.
Like I said, it's a long push for Na'Vi, and they've got to do it in the next game, essentially, because VP has made a statement to the entire world. They were like, you guys spent too much time talking about myth. We are the legends. We are going to change the world. And honestly, after how they've played this, even if they for some reason don't win, they're still my pick going forward towards PUBG at the end of the year, because these guys are phenomenal.
Safe pick. Honestly, they've been playing this year all great.
It is a safe pick for Falcons. And Falcons, we were able to actually get an interview with Falcons. Let's see what they had to say.
Hey, Claris here with Gunnar from Falcons. After a few difficult games, gonna have to ask you the hard questions, unfortunately, Gunnar, for this one, because it's not been the easiest start for Falcons. Talk to me about what you think might be going wrong here for Falcons.
Sorry, it's hot as balls up there, so I was sweating. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of hard zones. I'm not like going to use that as an excuse, because obviously we definitely could have got more points than we've gotten thus far. I mean, mainly the thing that's gone wrong is that, like, we haven't stuck to like one structural play. Like our crash on Na'Vi on the Tego game just could have been better. It could have been more organized, since we had a lot of time sitting right below them. And then the last game as well, like we just got to Graveyard, and we just needed to focus on our setup the second we got there. It was pretty unfortunate that we were playing the dip and the church, and we were just getting ready to hold what like we call like the long. Yeah. And if we had someone on top of the roof on the long, we should be able to win that fight pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, just some hard zones and some misplays on our part, and obviously, like, here we are.
It's a tough time with the kind of butterfly effect in PUBG, because obviously as soon as Twisted Minds rocks up on your position, surely the alarm bells are going off, and that's delaying your move in, and then the Vicious is above you. So is that what's going through the team's mind right now? You're listening to the comms. What's happening in the team at the moment? I
mean, honestly, it's like even on the Wrangle game, a lot of teams just aren't moving. Like we want to speed up fights, and we want to get them over with. But like the Wrangle game, like Myth is like sacking their game in the blue zone, which inevitably is sacking our game when we're actually trying to take a fight against them. I mean, not that like they did anything inherently wrong, because the zone was not good for them either. It was basically like we were going to get 4 points on them, they were going to get 4 points on us. But yeah, I mean, we just both died. But yeah, I mean, it's PUBG. It's obviously the game's going to be tough. We're going to go out there, reset, and, you know, I mean, hopefully get over 20-some points this game.
Thank you very much, Gunnar. Best of luck in the next games.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and we are getting ready to head into our next game here today. Virtus Pro making us hold our collective breath last game as they almost get in a position to secure their win, to secure their championship. But Team Liquid will deny them, and now we have to go over to Rondo. It is iPorosaurus, it is He Avenger, and Virtus Pro now on the clock once again, trying to collect that win and end the day early.
15 matches played so far here in the final, and on the grand final day, VP's able to get a second place with kills, putting them on 150 points, averaging 10 points per game. Absolutely insanity here for them. And now they have 3 more chances to either deny a second place to get to that 136-point threshold, or to get a chicken dinner themselves. Poro, 3 games to go. Do they get a chicken dinner, or are we going to go to match 6?
Ooh. That's a tough one, man. I feel like we're probably going all the way. It just feels that way. It feels like every time you see Virtus Pro start to get involved in a fight, especially early, especially if it's in the first 3 circles, then there's always going to be a team that's nearby that immediately will just rush them. And so VP, I mean, you saw it happen last game. They only lost Luka Rux, but they then had to play that game forward as 3 and still almost managed to get a win there. Coming down to the very end, felt like they just ran out of ammunition and ran out of space. Team Liquid was able to clutch up. But now they have a little bit of another problem to worry about, and that's Na'Vi. Na'Vi's been having a burner of a day, and they're, what, I think 22 points, he said, removed from that threshold. So 22 more points for Na'Vi, and they're going to be in the same position as VP.
And as we start our game here on Rondo, 3 more chances to go. And you're right, 22 points is what Na'Vi needs to aim for to be eligible to be in that smash position in the second last game. I doubt it's going to happen, though. They're going to be denied by so many other teams as well, because they're the second place team that everyone else is trying to reach up to, from Falcons, from Vicious, and from all the other teams competing here at Esports World Cup 2026. And you know what? With a Virtus Pro win, that could propel Virtus Pro from 11th place to 2nd place in that club championship. They're already eligible from having 2 teams in the top 8, but here with a win would be insane.
That'd be absolutely huge for the org. Hope for the best. We see, looks like teams pretty much avoiding each other. Test Track Neox, this Twisted Minds Na'Vi sharing situation has been going on since time immemorial. Looks like Falcons going all the way down to the south. They have not had any bit of luck go their way so far today. Maybe they can find a little bit more luck here on Rondo. We'll see where the circle decides to go. Wow. It's going to go right on top of Zhao Tin. So very early start here. And Vicious, another team that's in the hunt, is right there dead center.
Yeah, in the last game, they were able to breach the triple digits, 101 points. And as you see here right now, Nixie is leading with almost 5,500 damage done. BME in 2nd place. And Nixie is leading in the wall kills. Longest time survived, so he's really putting himself in a great spot for that MVP title.
Soul's still trying to make an argument for it, though.
Absolutely.
He's right there, so Nixie...
He's sniffing at the heels of him.
He is. He's right there, so Nixie needs to hear those footsteps, because that's a pretty large prize pool chunk itself for that MVP award. And despite all of Gen G's struggles so far this tournament, sitting in 8th place right now, that would be a huge feather in their cap if they're able to get an MVP nod for their frontman, Mr. Soul. As we check in with VP, they will have to make their way in from the south. Looks like they have AGAL and possibly GK, possibly 17. That will be kind of on that southern side of that zone. And you've also got Falcons just off to their southwest.
And of course, in VP and Hongshang here, such a strong looting spot. One of my favorite ones to go at. It's both fun for hot drops and also great for loot.
Yeah, you like this one?
Luka Rux and also further head inside the circle here to get that point man information too for them. As we all jump over to Vitality, currently 7th place. 20 points shy of 3rd. It's very doable for this team if they're able to step up. What we've seen from Levante so far and the rest of the guys. We know they're able to clutch. We know they're able to win games. They just need to do it in one of the next 3 ones here. And with this circle being this central on Zhao Tin, we could end up seeing a pseudo or even a full urban ending. And Vicious being this home turf team to be inside here, it's really difficult city to defend and really difficult city to win games from. So really interested to see how they're going to approach this one here. If they're going to take an edge, a southern side, or have a split on all sides alongside the edges of this circle here. Seen incredible things from Tycoon so far here, Power, and does feel like he's back to that 2022-2023 level that we knew and loved, and a little bit into 24.
Do you think it almost might be worth for Vicious just to abandon Zhao Tin altogether and try to maybe move outside of the city to just off center circle and just take a compound that's a little bit easier to defend?
If you would have asked me before we removed Landroser, then yes, because how everything kind of lines up. But with this being dead center, it's super high priority at the inside. And now Liquid's actually pulling up into Gen G.
It's just Bean. And actually, Bean, I think it was taking shots over towards Shadow Esports to get them to move away, and maybe Liquid seeing if they can trick Bean into peeking a different window, and instead they'll just pull away, go back over towards Purdy Curdy. They do have Shadow Esports still kind of roaming around. It looks like they escaped off to the north, but it looks like Shadow has found a compound that they're comfortable with. They'll stop down there, and maybe how far south do they want to go? Well, they look how close they are to Vicious now. Vicious. They did kind of stretch out from the city itself, and they've sent Simon T and Powell up here. Powell not really in a support position. Simon T, yeah, he knows they're there. You can see him peeking just to see.
Heard him?
Yeah, he definitely heard him.
Look at that, though. No utility, only 2 first aids for him here. But he does have a 3 vest. But no utility, trying to fend off a team coming in on your ridge where it's extremely difficult to get anything out of. As we jump over to Liquid, they have a, over to VP, away from Liquid. They have a really easy entry for them to go past Julin here and get deeper into the circle. Yeah, they're just trying to, of course, get as many points as possible to make sure that nobody gets close to them if we do go the full distance of those 6 games.
They've kind of taken their time on this rotation, and as a result, AGAL 17, GK, all the potential threats from early on have all moved in more towards the center. T1 also a drop from that E pickup just on the western side of Jaten as we check in with Gam. Get a little bit close to Shadow, but not close enough to be too much of a problem as they're able to claim this compound for themselves.
And as much as Shadow has impressed in some games, it's mainly been Miramar they had success on, where they were able to take down AGL and get a chicken dinner. Now they are sitting in last place, not even close to the top 10.
It's been rough, but you know, to be fair, making the final was probably about the most that you could really expect from Shadow. I mean, it's been a fantastic tournament for them. I mean, nobody really had very high expectations, relative unknowns, and they came in and they made the final when a lot of more historic teams with a lot, you know, better lineage, PUBG didn't. So you got to give them all the credit in the world here as we check in with AGAL. Playing around those towers, GK kind of moving around just off to their west. They hear the vehicles. They know they're close, but they don't have vision.
And him is obviously always in that conversation. He's been far and away from anything that happened. 10 was ahead of him in kills. So is Tycon. He's on 16. Nixie and Soul untied on 31 kills. With one more kill, they're gonna double him as his kills here. Now we over to the glider off Kickstart, and Falcons have a UAV inbound as they're gonna be able to see the information coming in on all the cars driving just below them. Kike, he sees the cars, he has all the information being shared to the rest of the guys, and they're driving far behind him, so he knows exactly how to play around this. I'm gonna swing around just a little bit here, and he's got plenty of gas in that, just above 60% on the gas, so he's gonna have plenty of time for that.
Definitely feels like Kickstart has taken a shine to that role as the eye in the sky for Falcons.
Oh,
great job here as Virtus Pro. They're going to find full sense. Once again, an early fight here for VP, and the trade comes through. Flash will go down to Beamy, though, in return. So 2 knocked here for full sense. VP playing around the trees, but Beamy will find another one. Beamy keeping his team in it, and now full sense down to just 1, but they're getting third party from range by Kiss. This was always the concern. The second they start fighting, a third party is sure to come.
Nixie goes down to Kiss as Kiss starts to get fully involved from this one here. You see 17 once again sniffing at this. They see this in the kill feed. They're activating for a third party, and Myth is also coming in. All these teams that's in the middle of our leaderboard is trying to catch up to the top.
We've seen 17 do it already once today, where they see VP in the kill feed and they immediately collapse onto it, but it looks like this time it's going to be Myth that does it. They're sending all forces, all hands on deck here to try to dispatch with Virtus Pro. They're down to 2, but it looks like actually down to 3. Nixie able to pick up.
Extracting him.
Yeah, they pick up their fallen teammate. I believe that's, Nixie's the one who's knocked. So they're able to retreat to Yulin as I'm not sure. Well, I wonder if they were able to get the blue chip. They might be able to.
No, they didn't get it. Lukaruk died as they were driving away from him. So I think the call from Lukaruk was like, okay, Myth is coming in. I'm dead. If you can pick up Nixie that had more health left, would be way more valuable for them. Tanvo goes down to his own nade after he got knocked here, as Navi is now trying to develop this fight here with Gam. More cars are driving in here, and utilities being deployed towards the cars, and Boostic disengaged from that location quickly. Smart play by him. The young prodigy from Navi gets a headshot onto Cloris as well. More damage done, but he runs out of shots, swaps to the SLR, and tries to connect some bullets with 8X.
Goodness gracious, Boostic almost takes him down. But the good news for Navi is that Gam does disengage off of that fight after Navi pick up one. So they do have this compound. It's off center, but they don't have to worry about anybody trying to third party their fight. They're so off. I mean, they're the most northwestern team, or northeastern team rather, that we have. So, but you can see already hopping in vehicles. They don't want to take the chance of somebody sneaking up on them and taking them by surprise.
Sitting here with fingers crossed. Because
so many teams inside Zhao Tin right now.
It's crazy. I'm really having my fingers crossed here for a proper urban and an inside Zhao Tin. We've seen them so rarely because of the land ratio and how everything worked with all the pillars is just around. And as we see here, they're trying to maybe sniff out a Lukaruk's chip to get him rest. Yulin is close. There's a rest station there. Yep. Myth is potentially trying to deny it. Kiss is standing over here with a Dragonov and with an 8X. He has no extra bullet though. There's just 0 in the spare. Sure, he's playing AUG on the other gun here for the 5.56. Got plenty of that, but is it worth it for Myth to fully deny a potential rest for them? I don't know. It's again, Myth is super far down on the leaderboard. They need as many games as possible played, but they actually have a quite deep and central location already, and now they have hurt them left. VP is definitely trying to sniff out this blue chip as we see this next circle. Zhao Tin, please, guys. Can we get an urban ending? We do go close. I would say it's a 50-50 right now, but look at the amount of teams that's already posted up inside. Myth is full sending it. They might be greeted by all the teams already inside.
There's so many teams in there, and as soon as Myth gets close, they all start opening up as Virtus Pro.
Look at all that.
Left correction in the blue. Yeah, look at the, I mean, look at the lines coming through. Hackatory, of course, Hackatory is going to get the first knock there. As where even is Hackatory? Is he in the city? I see the rest of Navi all the way off to the northeast.
Yeah, they have one building east there and then like a small square setup in the SOAR, a little bit more central inside Zhao Tin. A lot of teams on the edge here. They're trying to get ready to kind of leave that. Lukaruk's on screen here. Live from Paris for Esports World Cup 2026. And Virtus Pro on screen trying to, of course, survive the most of it here. And now Myth is playing the edge. After losing Jacob, their IGL that they praise so highly.
It looks like Virtus Pro might be going for it. I think they managed to retrieve Lukaruk's chip, and now it is worth noting that Tigger has been hiding out in Yulin for quite some time here, all by himself, just eating blue zone damage. I wonder if he was possibly camping the revive station.
They lost some of the players in the fight with VP earlier. I don't think he managed to get many chips. I think he just went there to try to go get some loot, try to get some heals so he can actually heal it off here, and he doesn't even engage on towards Nixie. He's a couple of 100 meters away, so it's not really worth for them. Now we have Liquid potentially fighting with Gen G here in the northern side alongside the Ridges. And really kind of develops this fight here that Liquid was fighting on earlier with VC, and now it's a new team. Gen G is trying to pull off maybe a drive-by from being here, but setting up for a little bit of a bridge play here, trying to bait some utility potentially. Shots are coming in. It doesn't connect just yet. Just a little bit of damage onto the car.
You can see on your minimap there, Ferris from Navi also looking over in that direction. So Navi could be once again in a perfect position to third party here and collect a few more points. Remember, they have to hit that 136-point threshold to be able to then qualify for the win in this Smash format. They could break the dreams of Virtus Pro if they do so, but that is a tall, tall task ahead of Navi. We'll see what they decide to do here as we get an overview of Zhao Tin. Still very occupied. Lukaruk's now back in the helicopter and will join up with the rest of Virtus Pro on the south side.
Just seeing how all the teams are kind of developing here with Na'Vi coming in from the north. They're engaging on to the location of Liquid, trying to pulling up here. Shrimpsy finds Setsuna, though. Some other teams are coming in here, and Lukaruk's coming into the city here. Could be him dying quickly. Boostic finds Cowboy for the flush here, as Na'Vi is engaging in the third party onto Liquid and the Gen G.
Virtus Pro's wrapping right into Falcons. Falcons was a little bit split here. They had retreated to go back and claim their vehicles, and they get there right in time as Virtus Pro is driving past. The sprays come through, but the damage is just not landing. And Virtus Pro is managing to sneak through this, able to get to some hard cover for the time being and reset. See if they can turn their attention back over towards Falcons. But yeah, look at this. No damage. The chasing really came through, but Falcons, yeah, they're absolutely chasing this. Gustav going to send it right in the middle, but nobody is going to get hit. He's going to pull out, try to see if he can maybe find the shots, but Virtus Pro somehow gets to breeze right through that Falcons split.
Absolutely amazing scenes here as we get a proper Sentinel Joutin ending. We're gonna be having some urban warfare here as everything is developing. So many teams engage with each other. Let's focus on some of the teams that's on screen though. Here Na'Vi, Liquid, and Gen G involved with each other. Boostic finds Luke. More shots comes in. Boostic is low here as Na'Vi, the closest chasing teams, is low. Halo, last player for Liquid, just won a game here, but they could be finishing up.
And now Gam has come up here to try to third party on this. No shots taken so far. They're just hovering around as Team Liquid down to A-Low, but he's playing inside that pagoda. Looking around to see if anybody peeks their head. Boostic going to retreat in as he hears the engines come through. Gen G sniffing around, want to make sure they at least secure these knocks that they've managed to secure or get themselves. Grenade come through, but A-Low on the other side. Stay alive for now. Another one well cooked will drop down. Will avoid A-Low once again.
It's kind of an off spot here. Now shots come in.
There it
Bean
is.
finds him. Gene stays engaged with this fight between Na'Vi and Liquid. No, Res could come in from Boostic. As Gen G's holding on to this edge here. That's a blue zone. That's a great blue zone. Might get some points here for the Liquid boys as it's being dropped from the top. Rel played. He finds him. Ferris might be able to get the rest on Boostic here as Na'Vi, even though they're down 2, they did get 4 points, but very unlikely to be able to get the 22 that they need.
He heard the footsteps. That was such quick work there by Ferris to take down A-Low, to take down Liquid. But now Falcons also have made their way all the way up north, and they're third partying Gen G, which might open up a little bit of a door here for Na'Vi. They're retreating to the east on foot. And I think they've managed to escape Gen G without them seeing where they've gone. You can see what Falcons is working with right here, not committing to the city just yet, although it looks like Gustav may be sending it in, trying to find at least a foothold in the north that they can then go to. As we check once again, it is 44 alive, dead center of the city, as Gen G will find Na'Vi in the end. They will take them out.
Full sense also going out here inside that urban warfare, as we talked about before here. Next circle does pop soon. We're going to see where we are going to be ending up. Actually, proper Joutin urban ending here. And you know what? It's extremely difficult. Oh, Jexi finds Lukaruks, and now everyone inside the city knows that it's VP over here in that direction. They could be turning heads. Falcons also driving in, getting involved, getting close.
That is worst case scenario for Virtus Pro to take the knock there. Lukaruks will get flushed out as well. Virtus Pro trying to make their way across this road. Correxy trying to jump the fence, almost gets in trouble there, but Kamal's not able to finish him off before he has to reload. So Virtus Pro, and the other news is that Beamy is separated from them. Beamy has not been able to make his way across the road, so he is left sitting here trying to wait for the push as Falcons now will run into Myth. Gustav goes down. The grenades will fall. They'll get him low, and there's the flush as Tiggleton will take down Gedrox.
Shots comes in as well for Gedrox going down here, but Gustav being flushed is so unfortunate for them. Myth being 2, Kiss and Scabby to full HP now. But this is such a difficult game to win for VP at this point. Almost impossible unless you have the high ground, biggest building.
If people were paying attention, I mean, obviously Shadow knows that Virtus Pro is up there. Myth knows that Falcons is there, but if they have their ears on, their headphones on correctly, and they hear where the sounds are coming from, they should know that both Virtus Pro and Falcons on the north side. But look at the distance between the two. That roadside, a big line of demarcation. I think the Falcons and Virtus Pro will be comfortable just holding on to the line right now. and waiting to see where the next circles decide to take them.
If this develops properly and Vitality is able to hold on to this big building in the middle that has high ground, that has everything. Oh, Perfectix finds him before he hits the deck. And Dogma is down to just being the last player. Full 3 gear and Perfectix. And with the Lings in hand, he's going to be able to do some damage in this one. Our defending Esports World Cup champions. Currently sitting in 6th place, trying to get to that triple digits to get close, to secure more points for the club championship of this team. It's very unlikely, almost impossible, I would say, at this point here, even for the points available for the next 3 games, for him to win it again. So we're not going to see a back-to-back from Twisted Minds in PUBG Battlegrounds.
This is tough, as it looks like Twisted Minds just going to aggressively take this fight against Vicious, knowing that they are ahead of them. Like to take them out. They've managed to get the knock on a POW. They knew exactly where Simon T and Duckmai were, but could not find a way to pin them out. That is the problem with fighting in these urban environments, is you can get a knock, but flushing that knock once you've gotten it is so hard. And now Simon T able to get to POW, see if he gets him back on his feet. As we see 17, they're going to send it into the south side of the city, just boldly going through. Shadow will take down one of them. Tian and Wembo will be able to get inside the city. Lil Ghost providing support from the south.
And that building I was talking about before with Vitality, losing a player, losing Getrox, that's so unfortunate. Now it becomes almost impossible to defend. It's a massive building, but you have that roof access. And that's what they go for here, thinking that they might be inside that last part of the circle. Patulins finds Dogmai for the headshot. Vicious loses another player.
That was really nice work by Batulins. It looked like Duckmai was trying to go for that sneaky flanking angle, but Batulins sniffed it out. Veteran player that he is. They know exactly where these Vicious boys are, and that's a great grenade. Bounces off the wall and takes down POW. Simon T now the last player left alive for Vicious.
Can he do something? Gets the flush there, and now they're going to just rush him. They probably have no idea he's in this corner here. He's just waiting for it. They're playing it very meticulously correct here with Simon on the corner. Finds one, finds Platoon. Now the other guys are going to swing. He's going to try to go for a stun grenade on the hand here. Stuns himself a little bit. Dogmai goes out, shotgun in hand, but Perfectix gets it. And Twisted Minds gets another kill on another point on the board.
See if they can get this revive up. Gen G has kind of sent D and Soul around on this northern side. They heard the shots. They saw the kill feed. But they get shot at themselves, so can't make that full commitment to the straight up push. Instead, they'll just try to put themselves in position to maybe catch Twisted out. And they're looking in the opposite direction. While all this is going on, Falcons and Virtus Pro still 3 up. Beamy has not been able to make his way across the road to rejoin his squad. Shadow still keeping eyes on that. So keep eyes on their situation as these circles progress. Batu able to get across that line and get to cover thanks to the smoke and thanks to support from his teammates.
We know how crucial it is to win games when you're all 4 alive here, but urban endings just makes it so difficult.
It's such a crapshoot, isn't it? You never know. I mean, you could all the best laid plans, and it could just come down to a smoke battle in the middle of a field with 20-something players left alive. As Shrimsy is going to get knocked by D, but that should be a fairly easy res here for Falcons. Good news is even if they lose helmets or they lose armor, they're still inside of these facilities that probably re-up. But look at Virtus Pro. They've actually managed to get everybody back over here. Oh, Beamy going to take a lot of damage, though, from Shadow, and he's going to get knocked. He tried to send it across, but Shadow, so patient, waits till the very end. And they will take down Beamy, so now Virtus Pro down to just 2.
Now next circle does pop here, Porter. Do we end up where in the middle where we're thinking, are we getting a hard shift here towards the later stages of the game? That's going to get really tight onto that big building that Vitality is locking in. And close to that courtyard in around the open space in the south and west side here. We're going to have a big fight between 17, T1, and GK eventually. AGL is out. Twisted Minds going to have to move in alongside Gen G on the northeast side. This VP and Falcons is actually in the same area. Looks like VP is setting up for a defense towards Falcons. So we see them here on screen, and AGL and Shadow continues to have an impact in the lobby.
You see that kill feed lighting up. That is going on the south side. So a few knocks coming through. Most of the, many of those likely to get revived once again. But this is the story right here. Falcons, how can they make their way into this next zone? You see Nixie, shotgun in hand, holding up, but the problem right now is Kiss. All by himself with that high ground is causing Falcons a lot of problems as they try to make their way through the smoke, but Kiss can just kind of see above it. And Falcons have to re-rack here, trying to figure out if they can find a way to get back in here. And Corexy still on the other side of the street here for VP as well, so he may have
that's a great angle.
Yeah, there you go. You can see what he's looking at. And if Falcons are unlucky, Shribsy going to take the spray. Yes, Corexy will get the knock. Can he get the flush as well? He can. Kickstart going to go down as well to Nixie. And now Falcons down to just Tiggleton with the Panzerfaust in hand.
Blue zone goes out as well. Utility's being committed to get Falcons stopped here. They do not want them to continue on this chase as Nixie gets the confirmation on Kickstart, making it practically impossible with Na'Vi out for anyone to catch them, as second and fourth is already dead. Tiggleton being that last player. Blue zone on top of the roof here. That's smart for a double one. He's going to force him on the low ground, and he has a Panzer in his pocket. He could get 1 point and stop Nixie from doing any more damage to Tiggleton.
See if Kiss gets involved. He's still on that roof side. Yep, he's looking, and that's going to do it for Falcons. They go out in 10th place. Now Virtus Pro know that they have lost all of the teams that are chasing them. They can play with a lot more freedom here.
Scabby finds Quizzy. His Twisted Minds goes down in 9th place, making placement points activate here. Scabby having an impact vitality. They have that central location, and they are pushing it.
Genji take an L on the way in, but that knock on the vitality, as you said, opening up a little bit of a door here. As Nixie will get spotted out by Kiss. Kiss causing so much havoc from this high ground position, but he is all by himself. So Scabby has been taken down. Shadow Esports, meanwhile, they've been hanging on the western side of the city for so long, and they still get to hold on to this building for a little bit longer. As Corexy try to go fishing with dynamite, see if he can maybe find somebody, get a little bit of some measure of revenge here on Shadow before having to make his way in.
It's a lot of the road that's in place still here. The big corner of that building, the courtyard in the open here. So you really need a lot of smoke. So you have to hold on to that utility, especially if you have more lethals that could have such an impact. Once all the teams are going to have to get out in the open, what it looks like, we're going to be finishing on the corner of this big building here, as you see from the bird's eye view. As Corexy finds Setsuna on Shadow. He's trying to really get some more points on the board for VP here. Looks like it's impossible for him to cross this without Shadow denying any single step inside.
These points for Corexy really just putting the rest of the lobby on notice, right? Like, they know that Na'Vi is out, Falcons are out, VC is out. All the teams that were nipping at their heels. And Na'Vi, unfortunately for them, going out very early. So not able to really put too much of a dent.
Oh, grenade. Oh, does 42 damage. Now he's going to have to start healing.
Oh, that blue zone's taking too hard.
That's
yeah, he's
so
going to go
much
down.
damage.
Yep, that's going to do it for VP. But job done as far as they're considered. Now we cut over to Gen G, trying to hold off Myth. They will take down Kiss after Kiss was able to get the res on the Scappy. Let's see if Scappy can maybe return the favor. But Gen G will have to get to salute immediately. And look at the building. T1 already inside. Vitality in here as well. Gen G have a couple of players. Meanwhile, Shadow Esports just gets a vibe. But there you go. Nice grenade from Scappy. Will take down Hallow My Bad. And that might open up a window here for him to make it in.
Soul finds multiple of T1. He finds Raining and Type as they go down.
The MVP race is still on, and Soul has a little bit more to say about it, but good grenade from Ian will take him down, and that's going to do it for Gen G, as T1 do lose 2 in the process, but they're up to 6 kills, and they're climbing the leaderboard.
Almost a 4-way tie on 91 and 92 points. 3 teams on 92. Hello, My Bad finds Scappy as Myth goes out in 6th place, and more placement points get deployed. Levante with a good ridge for this one here. He's going to be able to get the utility in for this hit. Oh! Nades caused 29 damage, not enough. Quizzy continues as Parkro tries to crawl away from this one. More damage going to be done here.
Just creeping around like a bug on the roof, but this is anyone's game here. 5 teams remain, 13 alive, city ending. The dot right on top of Quizzy, just inside the building. As we see Shadow Esports are going to lay down the smoke wall, trying to make their way over. Setsuna will go down. Park Pro Blue nipping at his heels. He knows that he's got Vitality looking directly at him. Try to pop up, take a shot, but he's going to go down to the blue. Handsy going to go down as well as Shadow has made a way in. Vitality, though, will collect points off of 17 Gaming. They're up to 9 kills. They're climbing the leaderboard, and they have a shot at a victory here in match number 4.
So 3v1, can he do it? Ian with a shotgun. Gets one, gets hello, my bad.
Oh, the double pump shot. He's only got 4 rounds left. At least secure the point. He will. The rest of Vitality still on the roof. Ian just waiting for them to drop down. Quizzy not going to go all the way just yet. Vitality would love desperately to get this victory. As Ian will wait for somebody to push down. He's going to jump down, and there you go. Levante will take him from behind, and that's a win for Vitality here on match number 4.
Now that's going to push them into triple digits. It enables the chase on that second place. And Levante with the big brain play. He's able to take out the sword off and jump in behind T1 to close that one down. And what a way to do it.
It's fantastic work from Vitality in what is a very difficult circle to play. Urban endings at the end with the smokes, and you just never know where somebody's going to peek you from. So much cover, so many windows to hide behind, but Vitality hold strong. They take down 17, and then they take the win.
And that pushes Vitality so close. We're going to have 3 teams, even 4 teams potentially, with Na'Vi as well, within 12 points or so in the chase of that second place with Na'Vi, Falcons, and Vitality.
That's a 3-way tie for third at 104 points. Right now, Vitality have the lead, but you know, on the other side of that coin, Falcons could find themselves going from second place at the beginning of the day all the way down to 5th if their day continues to keep going the way that it is. Vicious has had a lot of success. Vitality, obviously, the win here, absolutely huge. But the good news for Virtus.pro, Na'Vi goes down early. They don't hit that point threshold yet, and there's only 2 games remaining for anybody to try to even catch them.
Absolutely amazing scenes here for Vitality to lock that in. They are so high up. 3rd place tie right now with AJL on the club championship. Already having won MLBB Women's here at Esports World Cup. And yeah, for sure, putting them in deeper here, getting 2, 3, 4, 500 potential points, even 750 from second place. If they're able to catch Na'Vi in the last 2 games, would be insane for Vitality. But a chicken dinner here in the grand finals is insanity.
What's even crazier is you look at the leaderboard, it's 3rd place all the way down to Twisted Minds in 9th is only separated by about 13 points.
Yeah.
So 1 game could shoot them right back up in the rankings if you're Twisted Minds. And it's just the log jam that's occurred here behind VP and Na'Vi is just huge right now. And, you know, Na'Vi, they don't have it just yet. So, I don't know. We've got 2 more matches left to play. So let's throw it over to Caleres.
We book Esports World Cup up.
Na'Vi wasn't able to reach that smash zone, but Vitality, Lace, they finally woke up, got a chicken dinner here, got some eliminations, and stopped just slipping down on that leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams are kind of waking up now that our sort of juggernaut teams are falling down the leaderboard, but, you know, this is what needs to be happening with this. So obviously we've only got a couple of matches left, so it's kind of like the race towards that top of the leaderboard to secure more and more money for their org and their teams.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the leaderboards right now, you know, Na'Vi, Falcons, VC, Vitality now with that win, they're right underneath VP. And again, we thought maybe a team like Na'Vi or Vitality even could kind of catch VP, but it looks like the way we're going with only 2 games left, it's unlikely that not only are they going to hit that threshold, but then they have to go for that win as well. Now, the good news for these teams is even if they can't necessarily take first place, there's still so much to play for. Second place, as we stated, over $100,000 of a difference, right? Third place, fourth. As we look at the leaderboards here, 156 points of VP. My goodness.
That's why when VP went out, they looked so happy. They were still like fist bumping. They're like, yeah, we got this. We got this. But for Na'Vi, there is still a chance. They would have to get 18 points to reach the smash zone, and they would have to do it this game because if they reach it in game 6, honestly, it wouldn't matter because they wouldn't be able to reach it and win that game. That's not how that works. They need to reach it this game, game 5, and hope that VP doesn't finish it and win game 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's I said it, they had to do it last game, so this is going to be like a little bit more detrimental for them going into this. But look, to get that amount of points, and especially the way that I guess all other teams are sort of trying to get that positioning, it's probably not going to happen for Na'Vi. But man, I thought it was so close for VP right at the top there, that when they got the reviver on Lucarix, I was like, yes, okay. And they were able to make that rotation past the Falcons into such a good position in zone. But I guess it sort of all fell short there when other teams were sort of pushing into there as well. But then again, they were able to sort of take out the Falcons just as a duo, and that was like a 3-man team. So like the firepower on VP is completely unstoppable.
Yeah, and we saw it in the last game as well. They kind of took out Na'Vi towards the end game. Now they're doing it to the Falcons. So even though they're not securing their win with an actual chicken dinner, the important thing is they're securing the win. They're just making sure the teams underneath them are just not even getting to the end game to get those amount of points they need to get, you know, even within shooting distance of VP.
And the thing is, Falcons just keep dropping down as the crowd is just going absolutely crazy behind us. Come on. We want it to happen in this one as well. But going back to Falcons just keeps going down that leaderboard, man. This last game, a big old donut, Godspeed.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the start of the day, it's been losing fights, unfortunately. That first crash against Na'Vi, they lost that fight, and then the game after that, they got kind of picked apart. We saw them get destroyed by nades. Even that last game, they got crossed up by VP. As Lace was saying, it was a 2v3. They still got held off by that cross, so I'm just hoping they can at least get it together in these last couple games, because again, the Falcons absolutely also need these club championship points, I'm sure, as well as the boys would like to get more money, right? But yeah, there's a lot on the line for those boys.
I'm just laughing at that last comment. This is the okay. I appreciate the sarcasm there, but yeah, going into this next 2 matches, especially this 5th one, right? Do we think? I know you said that Na'Vi needed to get to the threshold within that last match.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen this one coming up?
I mean, you can get to the threshold, but then trying to win that last one against everything else, it's going to be an incredibly difficult thing. Like I said, at least if they did it the previous game, they would have had 2 chances potentially to be able to overtake VP. But look, I think they fell a little bit short there. But yeah, I guess we've got to kind of have a look at all those teams that are on about 104 points each and how this is going to sort of map out. Because again, VP are just looking so strong getting into these final zones and whatnot, but that it's going to be incredibly difficult for anyone to catch them.
And that was something else to think about when we talk about VP, is like maybe the pressure of trying to get a chicken dinner would get to them, right? But the issue is that's not even a factor anymore because of the fact that they've blown past so many teams, on top of the fact that, I mean, Na'Vi would have to get 18 points in game 5 just to make sure they hit the threshold of 136, let alone then have to win game 6.
Well, the pressure's there. Na'Vi, are you gonna do it? VP, can you close it out this next match? But before we go into the match, let's send it to the birthday boy, Kalaris, down at the stage with the towers.
You love it up there, don't you? We love it down here as well. I am with some very familiar faces as the Vitality fans in the audience are going crazy right now here to round out the day. I got Toffees, I got Avenger here to talk about everything that's going on. A city finish to get this run in here, Avenger. I know you were casting it, and I'm sure you were losing your mind just a little bit.
I had to run my way down here, and after it's just been screaming my lungs out. What a way to get that game kicked off. I was hoping for us, crossing my fingers, and also it's extremely difficult to win some of those games. Vitality being able to lock that central spot down.
Yeah.
What a way to do it from Levante too.
Honestly, for me, the biggest beneficiaries of that city was VP, because there was no one who was going to come away with a super powerhouses from that, right? So they were stoked, they got inside, they caused trouble, and you can hear the Vitality fans, James, and I think there's a good reason for that. It has become an insane three-way race there with 104 points with Falcons, Vitality, and Vicious right on top of each other, but so close to Na'Vi that Na'Vi has to now decide, do we go for the long shot Cinderella story, or do we defend our position?
The funny thing is, we were talking about it in the backstage, right? The fact that this Na'Vi roster, actually, when they are functioning at the very highest level, sometimes you see them functioning at a higher level than Virtus Pro. They can string together back-to-back wins if needs be, so they could be a Cinderella story here.
Their highest highs are some of the highest we've seen in the game.
In
if
PUBG.
all activated all at the same time, that could be amazing. We just saw some amazing performances out of Ferris. That's also why we've been moved into a more frag-heavy role. And if they all activate at the same time, we know it's possible. But they need 18 points in this game to be able to steal it away from Virtus Pro in the last one.
For me, this is a manifestation of the changes in PUBG. Each of the teams, 3 big changes this year. Na'Vi adds Boostic, Virtus Pro adds Corexi, Falcons, they add Gustav. All of them showing their impact here at this event, how big a deal one player can be.
A lot of EMEA power in that sentence you just said there, Toffees.
I'm not I accept
We'll let you
this.
talk about that.
I accept this. I think EMEA, you guys are sending some people out, doing what you need to do. The training has been good, but I think this also speaks to the power of the scrims in your region.
Yeah,
the fact that they're preparing for these events with some of the best teams in the world. It's not lost on me that NA says, oh, we're double blocking with EMEA whenever they're prepping for an event.
Yeah, it happens a lot, and we obviously, there are scrims across the world, but EMEA is definitely really a hotbed for those kinds of things. Nobody's going to be, unless something insane happens, nobody's going to be taking this away from VP. But as Toffees mentions here, Avenger, with so much money on the line elsewhere, it becomes so precarious to try and hit Virtus Pro where it hurts, or hit challenges to get second place. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line.
They are, and there's a 3-way tie on 3rd, 4th, and 5th place, and 104 points. We're talking $100,000 difference from 5th to the 3rd place. So everything's on the line in the last 2 games.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time to head to the penultimate game here as we get it going. So without further ado, let's head to the commentators.
I love PUBG esports. We've got a ton to look at in this last game. Can VP take the chicken dinner, close it out? Can Na'Vi get the points they need to break the threshold and maybe steal it away in the last game? The 3-way tie with so much at stake right now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, prize pools galore that we're talking about, but let's not forget the club championship. Vitality, Falcons in the hunt in a big way, and you can hear this audience loving what Vitality is doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. That game got the Vitality fans fired up. It got the drums banging there in the stands. They have been non-stop since that one, and you love to see it. So we'll see if Vitality can continue on this warpath, or if a team like Falcons, like Na'Vi, is going to be able to start running away with some more points to give themselves a better chance at something. And again, it basically needs to be back-to-back wins for Na'Vi to have any chance to shut Virtus Pro down.
Falcons need to find something, man. It has been an absolute miserable, terrible day coming up from them. Everybody is now just coming up tied, nipping at their heels back behind all of this. So much opportunity for everybody else, as it feels like Falcons have sand slipping through their fingers as every game just can't find anything.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's just one of those things where, for some reason, today it just hasn't been clicking. You know, their team fights have looked a little anemic. They haven't really been able to get those moments that I'm used to seeing them, where they're, even though they're running around the edge like they normally do, they're not able to find those moments, the third party to capitalize. You know, a lot of teams have been kind of putting them into bad positions, being really diligent about watching their flanks themselves. Everybody kind of tightening the screws here for the final day. And that's definitely giving Falcons a lot of trouble.
It's all about superstar time. Circle pops real far down to the south. The entirety, southeastern 50% near on entirely open except for Myth over there. Got Shadow going to stretch over, but as I was talking about with Superstar Time, whenever we look at VP, Na'Vi, Vitality, Falcons, VC, there's a lot on the table for that. And let's not even forget, just a couple of points. With that 3-team stack in third place, DK and T1, as well as Gen G, have now started nipping at the heels. Gen G is managing to find a way to really turn this around. These squads are only about 10-ish points away, as well as Twisted Minds, from trying to get into that third place position.
Yeah, and it's really important just to get up into 8th place, so you get at least some,
Yes.
club championship points. So for Twisted Minds, they're 1 point behind Gen G. They would like to leapfrog ahead of them. And Gen G, same kind of level importance to stay ahead of Twisted Minds. And even though they've been playing pretty well today, with those 3 Korean teams stacked up in the middle there, who knows? Anything could be possible.
Big call out right now as it is going to be Spiro way down to the south, away from the rest of his squad. Got control over the center of the circle to start. Na'Vi's trying to give themselves the position off the get-go to take control over this game because they know it's got to be big. If they want first, they have to have a massive game. They've got to get kills. They've got to make it into the later stages. And then maybe they could swoop in and take it in the last game. But it's also, we've got that looming VP. You mentioned it. They're usually good for 1 chicken dinner a day. And now we're getting into their more comfort maps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you heard Ibby talk about it during his interview. Even though, Nixie tried to call his shot that they'd win it on Miramar, and they were darn close. These are their 2 better maps, he feels like, and I tend to agree with him, that, they're a very solid Tego team. They're a very good Aragel team. So looking towards them getting the win on this map potentially, or that if we get to the next map and nobody else has hit the threshold, that it just doesn't matter.
Oh, Hakatori finds one off the start, and it's Kamal's. Do they get the flush, or are they going to make the commitment for it? I mean, that's going to be a bit more of a bold push up the hillside. Boostic's over there. Remember, this is going to be Ferris coming in back behind it all. This was that center control position that we saw a second ago. It also has supervision over the res beacon, so it gives you an opportunity to go for a couple of kills as people are going for reses. Kamal's does get thrown into the car, and it looks like Shadow's going to try to get away. I don't think that Spiro can get on top of the hill in time to get the vision, and that was almost 1 more point for Na'Vi when they needed more.
He didn't have the comfort there to rush out of the compound to go for the grenade throw. Yeah, because the rest of Shadow was over on the other flank, so they would have been able to cut him off if he had tried. So well positioned there by Shadow to keep their player alive. And Na'Vi, everybody else in the lobby, going to be very happy that they're not able to claim that point. As, again, it needs to be 18 points in this game alone for Na'Vi just to have a shot in the final game. That's what they need here on Tego.
We're probably not going to talk about VP for too long here, as they don't seem to make an entrance into the circle until about 2 or 3. They're trying to avoid all that center jockeying for position firefighting. Then they just watch, figure out where the firefights are, and then they just kind of squeeze their way in the right angle of approach time and time again. It has been costing them one player, often Lucarux, and they rotate early, so they've been coming in as a 3-man in the later stages, but they're still getting into that late stage time and time again to make sure if this comes down to points, they got tons of space to work with.
No, for sure. I mean, it is kind of the name of the game right now. It's just trying to get there. We already saw that Team Liquid doing some damage early. Now, sorting POW. It's been a bit of a slow roll today for VC as well. They haven't had as bad of a day as Falcons, but it hasn't been the best, that's for sure. They looked confident and aggressive early, but since then we've been kind of not hearing much but whispers from the Vicious team as they are just going to try to reroute and go a little bit wider of Liquid. So for Liquid, kind of job done here because you're able to keep VC from cutting out of your rotation path.
Na'Vi's got that 2-2 split, center of the circle, feels pretty good. They just shoot away Shadow a moment ago. Myth is going to be down to their southeast. But there's this problem that happens whenever you do have do-up center control in a position like they're playing with that 2-2 split. You can cover each other, but not a lot of people are going to be making really dedicated pushes to kind of close the gap on you. That means that while you've got center control for later stages, it's going to be hard to get those kills later on, as Myth, the squad that we had massive expectations for, starting to find a little bit more onto Calories, but this is just off of center.
Yeah, this is on the south side here. Cam was very wide split, and there's just no helping poor Clories. I mean, Hongaf and Tanvu are in Songam basically, so there's just no hope of getting here anytime soon. Myth going to come through that relatively cleanly as long as a red zone doesn't unfortunately land on one of our players, as they will run on over there, scoop up whatever extra loot is to be found. VC has made their way through. They're actually ahead of Team Liquid now. Liquid went to the way western coast to kind of watch, maybe try to set up another camp, but VC ahead of the curve and are going to be ahead of Liquid.
BP coming into the circle, gonna find territory galore in front of them. Wide out, fine. I think that we might have had Gen.G over into the west, maybe gone for an emergency pickup, but they didn't opt into taking it, so they're going to be going a bit more on that western approach as well. So the hillsides are going to be very much in the control of Twisted over into the northeast, Myth more down into the south, and then we've got the Songam hospital positions that a lot of people are going to be playing. Control area over in the west is going to be a lot harder to deal with. That's going to be where VC, AGAL, as well as Team Liquid most likely making their approach. That's going to have a nice setup moving into Hosan that's pretty flat. So whenever we look at the hillside positionings for Full Sense and T1 like we're talking about, they're going to have good control on angles of approach for these squads, so it's going to make them have to take a much longer rep, maybe even down to Songam in that general vicinity.
Yeah, could be, for sure. I mean, look at VP once again as they are starting to settle in up on this northern edge. Do have 17 and T1 within spitting distance, and you can see Lucarux has been shot at a few times here and there, but he's just using this to get some info, pop a tire, make life a little bit more uncomfortable for 17 in that compound across their way. It's just slow and steady, kind of wins the race here for VP, and I suppose if you get into a position where you're close enough to Na'Vi, you see them in the kill feed, you could just dial in on them and ruin their day. I mean, that is well within the realm of possibility and something they very well should do, in my opinion, if they're afforded that opportunity. I was kind of curious if maybe they were going to try a rotation trap or something, but didn't even bother. They're just going to play their game, and I think that's generally how teams approach PUBG esports as we get later and further into events.
Falcons going to go ahead and have Gustav down to the south. They're going to get themselves a compound. Feels pretty good. Crex is going to be taking shots of Vitality after their big come up in the last game. We've got to be careful. VP also had a mortar prep. The circle pops, does go that Na'Vi Myth positioning. Myth's going to have the high side of the hill with a lot more control on it. Falcons just getting control of that compound is going to feel really good. But notice T1, Full Sense, Shadow all kind of stacked on top of each other. 17 going to be the gatekeeper of the north, where it's going to be VP and Vitality trying to find a game for themselves. On approach to the west, it's going to be a Gen.G, getting pretty close to VC. So a lot of these squads that are tied up at 104 right now probably not going to stay that way for too much longer.
T1's found a nice path. Oh, that was not so nice. Ran into something there, and that's going to be a flipped car. That's a real problem right now for Reigning in EN. And there's a knock up here onto Heather. This is a disaster for T1.
And that is Na'Vi that managed to get the knock and a flush. Nade's going to be rolling down. Goes a bit too far. Should get some damage, but not the flush. So T1 players just 2 up, now trapped in the valley, in a crossfire, Twisted on one side of it, Shadow on the other. This is not going to feel good, and this is just destruction looming. The only benefit is that Na'Vi is trying to keep control over the territory around them and not letting Twisted Minds go for this. Shadow is going to be the one that gets more aggression on the side, but I think that they're a bit afraid of the positioning coming up from Twisted, so they don't want to go for it either. Somehow T1's just kind of surviving this.
Yeah, you can see Shadow just had to kind of circle the wagons a little bit, make some noise to kind of thwart Na'Vi potentially from trying to backstab them or something. I'm not sure what pressure they were feeling, but
that could be good.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see if you're Gen.G. And that's a great re-knock instantly by Perfectix. More shots raining in towards EN. You can see here, Twisted Mind wants these points. They need these points. They know it, and Perfectix is landing big grenades.
Follow-up bounce could be big. How's it going to land? Right on the side. There you go. Twisted finds another on a climb of their own. On top of that, that's going to be against T1. Now with those 2 kills, Twisted just 1 point behind.
Exactly. That puts them back into that top 8. Those precious points for the club championship going to be in their grasp. VP making a wide route. Oh, they have so much room to work with. I mean, they have all of the eastern edge, basically. This is a lot of space. Now, they do have 17 making a wide wrap behind them, so that could be something that could turn into an issue depending on what exactly 17 ends up doing.
Those guys have been shooting at each other for a while, so I think that 17 saw their rotate. VP is going to have some decent high ground on it, so 17 might opt a little bit more over the cross around boots on Sa, something else like that, be a bit spicier. Vitality not having the easiest of rotation, though. They are going to be moving pretty close to Full Sense. Even if they bypass Full Sense, that's going to put them next to AGAL, maybe even VC.
Yeah, VC just trying to get a little bit of information of their own, but Full Sense going to be watching Vitality wrap around their western edge. So Vitality actually, if they cut in, they're going to run into AGAL, and that might be exactly what it's about to happen. They're driving right towards their compound.
Yep, and no good options means the fact that at least Destroy was already inside of his vehicle. VP's got so much space to play. The new circle pops and it goes down to the south. Team Liquid's going to feel really great about that. Jinji running a 2-2 split, pretty fine. Everybody's going to hop in the vehicles. Time to rotate, and that wide wrap coming up from 17 going around Buk Sun Sa means that they could actually be timing this and bumping into VP at the worst opportunity. This is going to be really close.
Yeah, so 17 opted to absorb some blue damage to make the wider wrap, the faster wrap, the better timing on the pre-rotate. VP was circling around using their high ground for vision. They're going to be cutting into each other relatively soon, potentially. It looks like VP doesn't want to fully commit to this. Just kind of like a naval battle brewing. Falcons as well kind of shooting into that fight. Here we go.
Well, a longer wrap to the south, but it could give you a compound that's free, but it feels like 17 wants to go for the hillside stop. That's going to open up more movement for VP to continue on the path to the south, but it's going to be under duress from 17's positioning. It looks like 17 has found that compound. They're going to go ahead and stop off there. That's going to feel pretty good. AGAL is doing a long wrap on the other side of it. Navi's bumped into Twisted. There's a knock on both sides of this, as 3 players still up for Navi. Can't quite seem to find where the other Twisted players are at, but Batulin seems like he has an idea on where 1 is. Cooking the nade, going to toss it out. Does he get the knock? Yes, Boosted goes down.
That's massive for Twisted and devastating for Navi. Batulin's going to find another one here. It's actually Example who got the knock.
Shadow, Jacob on the other side, starting to try to find angles onto Twisted. That's going to allow Ferris to try to escape, but there's nowhere to go. He just has to run away from the circle to the north. Shadow's going to try to flank on the side, but Batulin's already reads it.
That was a decent grenade there. Caught quite a bit of damage, but Setsuna just letting loose with its stuns. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother the IGL and Twisted Mind.
VP.
Here goes VP right into Gam.
Just runs into the face of Tanvu, goes for it, but Hong F holds the line well. He goes down in the end, but Beanie, the last one up, has to drop to his belly. Shots popping off everywhere. He goes down. VP out.
Okay. I don't know that it's going to make too much of a difference at this point. They're able to take down Gam. Gen.G almost getting some points for themselves. They actually don't collect anything out of all of that. That's devastating for them. Now they're turning their attention towards Duckmai, who's stuck out in the open. I mean, he's just dead. There's just no hope. He is finito. And Salute looking back towards his other side. He needs a little bit of help here. I mean, Gen.G still so spread out. Soul trying to find a new angle.
Yeah, there's not much to be done. I mean, this is a great position for VC. At least managing to take it away from Gen.G gives him a bit more position towards the center. Falcon's been watching this. Gustav taking a couple of shots on the side of VC right now. Team Liquid's running a wide wrap down south. It's full 2-1-1. Vitality's got a couple players in Songam, and Gedrock's leading in just to the south of Gen.G. So with this, it's going to open up more kind of awkwardness, I would say, into the north, where Example still the last one alive for Twisted. Right as they touch that point 95, I think they managed to tie it up, but it feels like Jacob is on the hunt. Yeah, Baron's taking a couple of shots. If not, Setsuna's going to try to find it. Poor Twisted is just stuck here in a bad spot as the circle pops, and it feels really good for Team Liquid.
Ferris went into hiding mode, and he did tag up Baron a little bit up there. Example as well, having to stop the heal. Baron is going to be knocked in either by the blue or by Ferris. Looks like it is the blue that gets that. Example just trying to claim what he can, and he will take that point away. Every point so crucial for Twisted Minds, and here's this crash again.
Just jumps out. I mean, poor Tanvu, what are you going to do? He needed to hit the shots on the approach, doesn't get the knocks, and Hong F at least manages to get something back at what was a pretty bad situation if you really look at it. But Example, I think, starting to spot out more of the myth players, and you know this guy is always going to be hungry. And now, yeah, Twisted's at 96 with that last flush that managed to pop, but touching distance of our 104s, but not there yet. Nobody on the three-way tie at 104 has found a point yet.
That's crazy. I was just noticing that too. I was like, geez, it's donuts across those 3 teams. And to make matters worse for VC, they've already lost a player. Hello, my bad. Time for the mortars. Those are long-range mortars. I think, yeah, nobody's there. I'm not exactly sure if this is a kind of setup for a future rotation potentially. You do see teams do that a lot, where they're going to try to create dips ahead of time. Or if they maybe thought that somebody was chilling in that forest, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how it turns out. Yeah, Example gone.
This circle's just kind of screwy. Everything's already been claimed on it. Myth making the run across the circles, left to Jacob behind. He's just kind of trapped over here. He's got Shadow down below him, but Shadow's got to try to get in the circle. It's going to be Falcons trying to keep out. Gen.G on the other side with a good angle of approach onto it. With a long shift down, Myth is going to be able to spot out what's going on. Full Sense, AGAL, and 17 all jockeying for position down at the south because there's nowhere to really go. So I guess AGL is just going to send it after Full Sense.
Sure, why not? I mean, you're playing for every point you can get at this point, so got to do what you can as Full Sense, I suppose. You got 17 cutting through. They're going to be Kind of crisscrossing with, there's a vehicle explosion. That's going to take down Gedrox.
I mean, BRDM trying to come up big for Vitality. Here's Shadow in the rotate. Falcon's going to spot it. Doesn't get the knock, but that does force Shadow down more to the south, so VC is going to try to get vision. VC can't stay focused on these shots onto Shadow, though, because they still have Gen G right next to him, and that's going to make it very awkward as the longer this goes. Jacob's going to try to regroup, and he's going to have to run right through Shadow, Falcons, VC, all of it.
Should be noted here that this is VP's tournament. They have won. I just want everybody to know it is basically mathematically impossible at this point. But if Falcons could get a win here, they could really start doing some damage. Couple players falling from Vitality, explosions galore, grenades, mortars, everything getting involved. You can see 17 wanting to try to do something about this. More mortars on the way. Hello, my bad. Just gonna prone it out and pray that he's able to dodge these. That one got awfully close.
Closer and closer by the second, but if they can manage to survive, that's really all they want to do at this point. This is going to be a very open circle. Once you get out of the, I guess, the middle of the circle itself, circle does pop and it moves more into that open section that Falcons has control over. VC on that hillside also very, very strong. EK with Myth on top of each other. That's just going to be a bit more of a standoff, but really it comes down to the south where AGAL, 17, as well as Team Liquid's regrouping could be an issue. And for me, it's going to be, can Gen G continue to find more kills off of this? Because there is, I mean, Gen G is just getting every single point that they can off of kills. They don't believe in placement points anymore, right?
No, they barely. Well, it feels like sometimes they're just not able to get there. They're just relying on Soul to go crazy for them and get them a couple team fight wins here and there, but Vitality does find their res, and they do find a little bit of safety. Speaking of Soul there, he is getting the knock on to Shadow. That's actually opening the door here for Falcons to make a push. On the other side, the problem for Gen G is they are still dealing with Vicious.
Vicious hasn't found anything yet, just Tycon the last one up. Trying to get some nades over on the other side of this, but Gen G is taking a lot of damage on their walk into point. Gotta be careful, Bean almost goes down, but manages to cling to life. Nades now starting to rain down on top of Tycon, but he's just doing a little bit of a do-si-do around the tree. That's enough to keep him alive. Somehow, all these nades from Soul keep landing next to him, getting the damage, but this is opening up more space for Team Liquid. It's Cowboy looking like he's trying to get involved, while the rest of Team Liquid are taking shots onto 17 and Vitality.
Yeah, you can see Bean just looking for this opportunity. They're just going to drive right into Tycon here. They're doing a lot of damage to him. They're going to try to go for something crazy. They do end up getting him. D finds it, but he actually took down Soul as well in the process, so 2 players down for Gen G. Liquid could capitalize.
I think he got bounced off by the car while they were trying to come into the rock. But here's Falcons. They see the opportunity, and they've got to go. They found multiple kills on it, so getting some distance away from that cut line finally at 104. Vitality in trouble ahead of them. They got more points to be had in front. D, balls of steel, just going to go ahead and commit into the res. Doesn't care about the explosions around him.
Yeah, not much choice there. He has to go for that res and try to get his big fragger back into the fight, but yeah, nobody home for that spray for kick. There's a smoke there as well. D going to try to reposition behind the pony. I think the Falcons may have gotten an eye on that potentially, depending on the angle underneath that hill that they could see peeking over. D and Soul on the edge, so they're okay. That pony, a potential bailout. Meanwhile, people are dying everywhere.
Vitality needs points. They need to survive this. Levante goes down. 17 just got too many players up and alive, but playing around the Doritos, trying to make something big happen. Hello, my bad finally does fall. Only 1 player still up for 17, and got to commit to those reses fast because Team Liquid wants something. Falcons eyes back on to second place with Navi going down. 5 kills already. They've got control of the north. They still haven't been able to take care of Gen G yet, though.
Yeah, this would be a great opportunity for Falcons. They've got 4 up. They're one of only 2 teams that can boast that right now, and they are not going to fully commit to this fight just yet. Frags coming through, still looking for their opportunity, their moment, but the high ground favoring Gen G temporarily. It will eventually leave them as Phase 6 has shifted away from this fight ever so slightly, and that means that a lot of smokes and other things are going to have to be used here by Gen G to somehow, some way get in.
I like this from Falcons. They didn't overcommit into Gen G. It would have been nice if you got those kills, but they knew that the circle was going to pop soon. Instead, try to keep control over the north because Khan has already moved up for GK. Opportunity for them. He's now, GK is sitting at 103, Gen G back behind it at 100, so a lot of squads trying to make more of a climb up on this one. As Team Liquid's got Alo in the compound, feeling pretty good. GK with the control in the east, though, is really just going to be the only thing that they've got to work with. Falcons, you went from having control over the north to suddenly everything abandoning you in the circle, and now you've got just a little bit of a ridge line to play that's not going to feel good, and Gen G's still right on your doorstep.
Exactly, and it's going to be really important how this one shakes out, especially for Geeky and Falcons, considering where they're at in the leaderboards. I mean, who knows? Geeky could even shoot up to 4th, 3rd if things go their way as this rolls out. If they're able to rake in a bunch of kills, not the most likely scenario, but definitely something that to consider, I should say. Luke 12 finds the links, a nice pickup for him, but Falcons indeed, they would love to get this win here. They would love to give themselves that opportunity for 2nd place, that club championship.
And Team Liquid's on a bit of a come up today. I mean, it was not looking the best, so they're using the opportunity of nobody taking the chicken dinner and closing out Smash rules to just continue to try to find a way to climb up. Just now 1 point back behind Full Sense, and then there's a spattering of squads in front of them, including Myth, and maybe even climbing up next to 17, depending on how this goes, because they're the only ones that got anything good in this circle, let's be honest. Everybody else is pretty much playing edge. They've got a compound, but they're also kind of stuck in there. If they keep taking the shots, Team Liquid, and forcing DK to the north, that kind of works out for them, but it also means that while they could win the game, they're going to get less kills due to Falcons and DK being on top of each other.
Yeah, I mean, I love this view from Gustav's perspective because you can see why all these teams are forced to the outside. It's just a valley that funnels in towards Liquid's compound. Here we go again, trying to eliminate Gen G, and that's a good one from Kick. Gonna combine there onto D, trying to respond is Soul.
Soul and a Panzerfaust, that's scary. You know he wants more off the side of it. Tig knows where he's at. Trimsy going down with that bit of an explosion. Also going to throw off pacings for Falcon. Gustav taking a lot of damage. DK making a more concerted effort onto Team Liquid, using the opportunity on the top, but Kickstart can't get the knock.
Should be able to finish it, I would think, here with this frag. Soul goes for the Panzer, gets some damage in. The grenade goes just a bit too far. Panzer may have been well timed enough to kind of keep it from being placed exactly where it needed to. So Soul offered an opportunity to heal, but another frag in right behind his feet. Thank God he's prone.
I mean, Soul just a single man soloing up against the Falcons right now to see if he can find any more points for his team. Just 3 to try to catch up to Geeky, but remember, Geeky's got a great position in the circle for the time being. New circle has popped and it's gone. Of course, Team Liquid sided and moving into that very open section. Hillside is abandoned, so the longer Soul stays over here, the worse Falcons are in because they can't leave. Yeah, he's just screwing them over.
Exactly what I was just about to say. I not only in terms of time and placement, but also util. They've had to dump so much at him to try to displace him.
Oh my God!
Oh!
I thought he was about to run out and get a knock on them in the worst time. Soul finally goes down, the raid boss himself. Now, Falcons, you're the only squad that's got to go into the circle. Have fun with that.
Yeah, it's not ideal for the Falcons. They do have a lot of vehicles to toy with, so they can at least, you know, set up some kind of fortifications. There isn't a ton to work with, though. You can see one of these rocks that Geeky's already taken, kind of one of the few things that you would really want to be eyeing in this circle. They're going to make a go for it anyway, and they're going to lose a tire on the way in just to make matters worse.
Right off the start. I mean, they have a couple options, right? So that's pretty good. Now just 5 points behind Na'Vi. This is a very pivotal game for Falcons. I mean, talked about it. I think it's second to third's $100,000 difference. So 5 points right now, very big. If you can get more, all the better. DK, get ready. You're about to have to defend. It's the Falcons running right into your face. They got Panzerfaust ready to go. Gustav connects. Songjung goes down. Quick jump out. Gustav's got goals, but 2 players down for the Falcons. Can they take down DK? Is it's going to be a con one side and still holding up?
That was a beautiful push, but that's a better grenade. EJ takes down the Falcons, and Geeky hangs on. What is the response going to be from Liquid, if any? There's so much comfort in this compound. They're going to start pushing out towards a con.
Okay, con's got to hold back. Create enough time for EJ to get this res onto Park Pro. Smoke's starting to come out. Luke 12 is going to go to the north side. Look over where the duo's at with the rocks. It's a nice split coming, but oh, Akan gets a knock onto Alo. That makes it a lot more complicated. We're back into a 3v3.
Oh, and man, EJ had an opportunity there. Got to be careful. That Lynx on the off angle, going to be really tricky for Geeky. Could be the difference maker here for Team Liquid, as they are going to have to lick their wounds and recover, but only 2 shots left in this Lynx. Still have that level 3 gear and the AUG behind it, though, for Luke. Quite a few stuns as well, so this is very nice positioning for now for Liquid. They just can't afford to lose Luke here.
But Falcons dying to Geeky has now put, if Geeky can somehow win this, them right back behind the Falcons and has opportunity to steal that 3rd place position away from them. Geeky, though, has to have a Herculean effort in front of them. They do have control over the east, but Team Liquid still has a nice hillside. They've got compounds and control over the west. everything's going to be coming down to center dot, which is kind of in between both. Luke 12's just got to stay alive on this rock. He's the guy, odd man out on the side, going up against 2, while Khan is going to be going up against Cowboy and Purdy Curdy to the south.
Park Pro doing his darndest. You're going to bleed out some of that util. Oh, the follow-up from EJ. Just too far, but that's a good one. Park Pro, 3 grenades, ends up taking down Luke 12.
Makes it feel a lot more opportunity for GK. They've got the rock. They can look over. They can't really deal with Luke 12 down below him, feeding information still, and the rest of Team Liquid can counter move around that. Kurt just looking up into GK, and the 2 players now up. They've lost their high ground positioning that we saw them playing from a moment ago. Now it is just the compound that they've been stuck in for so long. Can the duo do it, or can GK try to catch up to the Falcons?
Well, now the percentages are favoring GK. They've got great positioning. They've got the control over the center of the circle, which means eventually Purdy Curdy Cowboy going to have to leave the safety of the compound to try to make their way through. And you can see it is a lot of flat nothingness. Kurt only takes a minor amount of damage here. No need to try to flush Luke. He's dead. There's no hope for the rest of Team Liquid to get to him. And EJ has been instrumental. A bunch of kills, 8 total for GK, 4 for EJ. And if people don't remember, EJ used to be one of the best players in Korea. He was on that Afrika Freaks team in the early 2020s, and he was insane.
There's 2 different factors that we need to look at right now. Team Liquid knows they're kind of screwed. They might sacrifice this over to Blue. That said, they're presently tied with Myth. They need all the points that they can get. They want to try to climb up a little bit more, because at the bottom of the leaderboard, it's just been bouncing around everywhere over there. That could potentially give them a more of an upswing in the next game to start going after 17 or something else, because yes, Team Liquid has been playing pretty good today, so there is still opportunity in front of them. But if they sacrifice out 2 points, it'll make it easier for the Falcons. If they opt into going for it, it makes it easier for themselves. Khan's going to go down blue zone. He was kind of trapped over there, but he's in the same precarious position that we can see Team Liquid having to play from. There's just nowhere to go. There's no cover, no anything in front of them.
Yeah, and Liquid's happy to play out. You know, 1 point will put them ahead of Myth, put them into 11th, so that's extra money in the bank, so definitely going to make a go for it. EJ sensing their movement, a great blue zone timing. He's going to try to follow it up with a frag, has 1 more available. It's pretty good. Didn't get the knock, though.
Almost off the backboard. EJ, you got another one. How's the angle on it? That's going to be a little bit too far. Kurt not feeling good about it. That corner wall, the only thing providing safety as the smokes go down. It does deny some of the vision for GK as well. Doing a little bit of a hop, seeing if they can spot anything, throw stuns, throw anything to throw off the timings, because yes, center dot control is GK's. It's going to be on Team Liquid to fight their way out. They're leaving the walls. Nothing else to be had. Park Pro's got the rock, but he doesn't have the angle. The tree making a bit too much. Shots come out from EJ, though. Cowboy goes down. Kurt, the last one up. What can he do? This position is terrible. GK's got it all on lock.
Yeah, the stuns here could be the finisher. Purdy Curdy still going to go for the peaks, but that's allowed EJ to get to the tree. Park Pro going to line up behind him. Kurt's going to have to go huge. He's already tagged up, and he's down. It's GK going to take game 5 of the day.
Big game for GK, getting those kills, getting the win. Going to put him in touching distance of Falcons.
Yeah, that was a huge moment for them. They are now sniffing that top 3, that podium finish. And they have been feeling it these last couple of days. They are only 1 point behind the Falcons now.
Okay, because what do we need moving into our last game? More craziness looking at this leaderboard, because while you mentioned it in the last game, VP, comfy cozy. They're in a great position. There's tons of space behind them. We didn't see anybody really get to the cut threshold, so it's just going to be about chasing that second, third place positions and who can have the big come-up game. Which superstar can step up whenever it really matters right now for your team.
Exactly. For VP, it's a victory lap. You know, they've done it. They're good to go. So everybody else is just trying to get as many points as they can in this last game here. And my Ajashi's on GK, absolutely getting it done, man. The old school PUBG pros. I mean, these guys have been around for a very long time in PUBG esports. Sungjong in particular, all the way back to those OG and Entus Ace teams. Absolutely a stellar player, and he has led another team to another phenomenal finish.
Oh, man, this is going to be crazy going into the end of it. Falcons starting to find some pretty decent successes inside that last game. Might give them some bit more motivation. Vitality coming off that last game. One before this one. Big come up for them. The audience, you got to be honest, there's a lot of Vitality fans here right now. A lot of the guys that are coming in, watching for the club championships. We've got that we've got to keep an eye on. We've got prize pools that we've got to keep an eye on. Oh, man, this is going to be crazy.
It is. I mean, I can't wait. This last game is going to be really pivotal towards a lot of things that are going to happen, not just here in our final standings for PUBG, Battlegrounds, but also for the club championship.
I feel so bad for Team Liquid. They finally started to find something today. If they had done anything similar to this in those first couple of days, they would have been so much better of a position up on top. GK getting it when they need it. 21 points. Falcons back behind it, finding the kills. 13 to keep some distance. But Team Liquid with 11, 17 with 9. Myth with 9 means a lot of our middle of the pack squads trying to find something. And of course, Genji finds a ton of kills.
I'm glad you mentioned that because they were able to get deeper into that game than normal, and they circumnavigated Twisted Minds again. So they're ahead of them on the standings again. So that's something to keep track of.
Okay, get ready, guys. One left. Tons of dreams still on the table. Who can clutch it up when they need to? We'll get ready for our last game right now.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
He thinks he can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing but go!
Tyler 1, you're done.
This is my ladder. You can't climb it.
That's an L airline.
Somebody better hold me.
Okay, yeah. Do something then.
Everybody, Porsource here, and I am here to talk to a couple of members from Virtus Pro to figure out what the best strategies to survive if you found yourself in a PUBG type situation. Well, we had some fans that gave answers, and we're going to rank those answers based on how well these guys think they would work. So let's start off with this. Tactical pack plus tons of first aid kits, EMT, hide and do fast heals in the blue until zone endgame. Blue zone until end game.
Let me read it again.
Go ahead.
This would not work.
Not anymore.
Because it doesn't work outside the zone.
Exactly. EMT
So not effective whatsoever. You'll put it all the way at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like this one. Find some adrenaline and pills and then hope for a glider.
Ooh.
Just
glider.
Is the pilot low-key?
If he's a good pilot, it could be better.
Wait a second.
I mean, you
Maybe a
survive for a
B-tier?
while.
Yeah.
I think B-tier is okay.
Yeah.
We like it.
I just hope you don't find Tiggletons. He's gonna down.
All right. I'd be prone and not moving unless the blue zone was tickling my feet.
That's a good strat.
I feel like
If it's all about surviving, I think it's
I've seen a certain somebody be very successful using that strat in the past.
Low-key A, no?
Yeah, I would say
Better than glider.
Yeah.
We put that above glider. I like
Yeah.
I'm just hiding until the very end, lol. I'm playing foe the win.
Okay, now we need to be strategic, though.
Yeah, now you're running out of
Because,
slots.
like,
Yeah.
can we move around?
No. You're stuck.
I mean, we have to put C now.
Put a C and then we figure out what next is.
Yeah. Not a bad tech.
It's not the worst, though.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
They're not as good as glider. Golden pickaxe equipped. Left click, left click, left click, left click,
That's
left click.
for sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
Get digging.
Yeah.
Get digging.
Just get digging and hide the leg in.
Put in the middle.
Dig your own bunga.
That's actually the first time we've seen that at S tier. Okay, last one. Dropping school and dying within 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
This might be the best tier list made to humanity.
Honestly, I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be one of our better ones. Well, there you go, guys. If you find yourself in a PUBG type situation, follow this tier list provided by the gentlemen of Virtus Pro, and you will be sure to come out ahead.
VP might not end up finding that golden pickaxe, but at the end they will end up finding that gold trophy, because right now absolutely nobody's gonna catch him. It is VP that is gonna end up winning, but we gotta talk about everything else that's going on within that leaderboard, because GK, that is their second chicken dinner today, and they have now pushed themselves up even higher on the leaderboard. And when we start talking about money, if you're in 4th place, guess what? That's going to be a nice jump up of 134,000. Before this one, they were in 6th place. That was 74,000. So 60K plus. Woo!
You're almost making what I'm making for this event.
Damn, son.
Pretty good.
Good for you.
No, but I have to say, I mean, that is a massive amount of money, again, just for a few jump ups in position. And you want to talk about jumping up in position, Team Liquid decided that they were going to show up today, and they went all the way from last place up to 12. So they are also making their climb still with 1 game left. I'd say 8th place is within striking distance for those boys.
16 points away from them. Yeah, they would have to hope that a lot of those squads that are currently ahead of them won't end up doing anything. Twisted will get eliminated. So yeah, I think, you know what, there is a chance that that could end up happening. Falcons, though. Falcons finally waking up here, Lace, being able to recover and getting some points, making sure that they stop sliding.
Yeah, I mean, they had like a great sort of fight against Shadow Esports, sorry, Seven, then setting their sights on Gen G, who were just in contention before, but I don't know, yeah, if you would have heard me in the green room, obviously this 4v2 against Soul and D, I was just like, just push them! And look, they did play it a little bit slower and safer, which I did feel like kind of stopped their rotation into zone, because look, I'm going to have to get someone's opinion on this, but the drive-by straight into Geekay, I mean, they were being able to take down a couple, but I don't see what the plan was there when they had that whole entire side to themselves.
Sometimes you just got to send, man. Sometimes you got to go out and look for those points and see what you can come up with.
Makes sense.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, there's a lot to talk about in terms of who did well, but VP has just dominated everybody, okay? This idea that they're, I think, unassailable. This feels like a victory lap right now, Godspeed. There's no way to stop them.
Yeah, I mean, it must be an incredible feeling to go into the last game knowing you're a champion.
Yep.
I mean, and then knowing you've won life-changing money.
Yep.
You've also won an incredible amount of